Hey everyone, Shabby Gamer here and welcome back to another episode of our Gibraltar Challenge here on Football Manager 2016. Now today is a very important episode because we have our first international friendly, and as you can see it is against Lithuania at home. Now I did say at the end of the last episode I'd bring you back for the youth intake, but to tell the truth I got rid of the entire youth intake. They weren't very good at all. They weren't even as good as the players we got in last year. So we sort of ignored that, and we are back now for these. So I need one friendly against Lithuania, so there's only one match in this episode. But obviously I will be going through the full squad to show you exactly who it is we've called up. As you can see, the news there, they're not happy. Gibraltar manager Shabby Gamer has named his squad for the friendly against Lithuania on Friday. Gibraltar supporters have been left somewhat bemused by the inclusion of Joseph Munoz, with many claiming he offers little to the squad and that friendly should be used to give younger players a chance to shine the international stage. That's possibly true, but maybe we can... he's only going to be a backup anyway. This is a big one. Uncapped goalkeeper Bruno Ramito has been included in the Gibraltar party. There he is, looking for his first cap. And could be set to win his first cap, of course he will be. Gamer looks to be taking the opportunity to experiment with other players. But some quarters have expressed their surprise at the inclusion of Richard Elliott, Sam Rogers and Luke Sumner. The team shows a sizable bias towards Europa Point players, with no less than 8 players being called up. That's probably because we've got the best 8 players. It's not because I'm being biased, I just know how good the players are we've got. I've really spent a long time picking this squad because I don't know a lot of the other players in the country. So I may have missed a couple of good players, but I don't think I have. I picked quite a few new players that have not got any caps though. So I think the first thing we'll probably do is we will go and have a look at the squad first, and then I can take you through by player exactly who they are, and just a brief summary why they're there, I suppose. And here we are. Here is our squad. Now I've provisionally picked a team here. I'm not quite sure if it's the team I'm going to go with. I think it's going to depend on because I picked the squad, then I had a couple more league games, so I'm not 100% sure how fit people are. They're not overly fit, some of these players, are they? Especially our ones. Hopefully we've got a week, so everyone should be ready. So if we put Matthew Baxter in at left back, then that should be probably the best team I can pick at the moment. But let's go through position by position. Of course, our number 1 goalkeeper Bruno Ramito going to get his first caps for Gibraltar, then we can lock him in and then he can no longer be called up by Australia. That's exactly what I needed to happen, and that's to be pretty good. I'm looking forward to that. Our second choice goalkeeper is going to be Callum McDonald, our former player. He played 156 games for us. Really impressive stint, wasn't it? And it took him a year or so to get a new club in the shape of Gibraltar United, and since then he's been a real beast for them. But he is the second best goalkeeper we have around, I think. And third choice, because we have to pick 3 goalkeepers, third choice is going to be Stuart Johnson. Chances of this guy getting a match is going to be pretty low, really. I think Ramito is going to dominate that position now for many years to come, but we have these people here just in case. Now into the right back position. I'll go through player by player in case I miss anyone. So right back we do have Jaime, a player I tried to buy quite a few times in the past. He is 34 years old, but I think he probably is the best player in that position. Well, not the best player in that position, but he's one of the best players in that position. The best player is, of course, going to be Ashley Riley. He's going to be playing right back for us. Plays for us as well, Europa Point. He's actually had quite a few games this season, a lot more than what he would be used to. So I've tried to get the people match fitness beforehand, which is probably a little bit cheeky by myself. In the last few league games, I have been playing quite a few of these guys from our team just to give them match sharpness. We also have left back. We've got Matthew Baxter, of course, our player as well. Just come back from an injury, Matthew Baxter, so he's not 100%, but hopefully he will be by the time the game comes around on Friday. Liam Joyce, another one of our former players. Pretty good centre-back. He's got the Holy Trinity above 10, which is probably one of the only people who is native to Gibraltar. He's only got 10 caps at the age of 27, which is a bit of a shame, because I think he probably is one of the best defenders out there, so he'll be playing quite a bit for us, I think. Alongside him, of course, we have Jim Morrison, the man who made his debut for his country, well, made his debut for Gibraltar a few episodes back, and he's going to be a pretty big part of our squad as well. Definitely one of the best players we've got, and only 26 years old, so we're going to have him for quite a few years as well. Struggling a bit for some players. We've brought up Juan Luis Ramirez, a 17-year-old centre-back. He's decent, he's not fantastic, but he's decent. I don't know how much football he's going to get for the national side, but he's there as a backup. And then we have a player I'm very much like, actually, when doing a bit of digging around the national pool, and I found Dylan Gomez, who actually plays for us. He's in our under-18s. He came through last season in our in our youth intake. Decent player. He's got some decent mental and decent physical attributes, and technical, it's going to take a while to get him up. He's going to get close to the holy trinity of 10, 11 and on. He's still got to get a couple there in heading, but still I think he's a pretty decent player. And we've got Martin Good, who's going to be a backup right back as well. 18 years old, actually a pretty decent player. Got some decent mental attributes. He's got 17 aggression. We'll have to keep an eye on that because he could end up getting himself in trouble. Actually, right over what he looked at, Luke Sumner, a defensive midfielder and central midfielder. Now, I quite like this lad, and he hasn't played for the national side yet, but I think he's pretty good. He's got some good stats here and there. Again, his aggression's very, very high. But I actually quite like him, and because his potential ability is 1.5 stars, which is the highest I've seen for many Gibraltarian players, I have actually offered him a contract to try and bring him in at the end of the year as well to Europa Point. Don't know how much he'll going to progress with us, but we're the only professional team around, so he's going to be training all day, 5 days a week, so 7 days a week, let's say. So he'll have a lot more chance to build himself up there. Of course, the international captain is Frank Evans. He's played 10 games in the First Division this season, scored 4 goals, got 2 assists. He's had a pretty good season for us, and he's really come back into it, mainly because I wanted to make sure, again, he was 100% for playing for Gibraltar. Sam Rogers, a player I brought in mainly because he can play several positions and he can back us up in a few places, but he does have some decent enough stats as well. Of course, none of these players are fantastic. Oh, he actually came from us, did he? That shows how much I remember, doesn't it? We signed him from St. Joseph's on a free transfer. We had him for 3 years and then released him, and then he went to Lions, and he's been playing for Lions pretty consistently ever since. Now, Joseph Munoz, this is the one that they've been complaining about in the media, but I think he's actually one of the better players we've got. He's got 12 passing, 11 technique. He's got some decent enough mental attributes as well. He's probably going to be a bit of a backup player for us, but I still think he's a very good player in that position. Of course, I've got Steve Foster, the player who we did have for quite some time and then sold him across to Sunderland, where then he went to York and now he's at Burton. And he's playing pretty well in League 2, and he's getting a lot of football as well, so good to see him doing well still. I often wonder whether we could potentially bring him back at some point as well. It's a possibility. I think he's only just been sold though. We've got Richard Elliott in there as well. Never played for the national side before, 24 years old. He's got 13 passing, decent enough technique, and again, it's been pretty difficult to find the right players to use, but I quite like Richard Elliott. He hasn't got a cap yet, and who knows, he might get one for us this time. Adam Nixon, I'm sure he came from us, didn't he? He did come from us. Adam Nixon, really struggling in the national side for left midfielder. So Adam Nixon's been called up for a left midfielder. He can play right as well, should be needing to. He's got 8 crossing, it's not bad. He's got good acceleration and pace for this level, so getting up and down that wing could be a decent thing for him, but I don't know how good he's going to be. Anthony Hernandez, again someone who can play multiple positions. That's the reason I brought him in. He is at 33 years old. He's only got 14 caps, and he's got decent enough stats around the board. Again, I don't know how much football he's going to get though. A man who I remember being absolutely hyped when he came through our youth academy, Lewis Stevens. I thought he had a really good future. He did play 36 games for us and scored 2 goals in his 8-year stint, that is? Yeah, 8-year stint. But since then we let him go and he's gone to Magpies. He's not been fantastic. He's down in the 2nd division at the moment. He's only ever got 1 cap for the national side, but I'm hoping we can spur him on to do a little bit better now. And then of course we've got Ashley Miller. He is obviously from us, one of the better players knocking around. He is the top goal scorer in Gibraltar. He's got 8 goals and 51 caps. That's the highest ever goal scorer for Gibraltar. Of course we've got Bustamante coming soon though. Also up front we have Chris Jackson, who's a pretty good player actually, 25 years old, 9 finishing, 13 free kick taking. Again, very high aggression. A lot of our players seem to have high aggression, don't they? And he apparently was with us as well, was he? Looks like we brought him for 10,025. And then we let him go on a free transfer. He went back to Lincoln Red Imps. I don't even remember half these people. And then of course up front we do have Carl Potts, who again is one of our players who came for our youth academy last year. He's got 14 finishing, good determination, good composure. The main reason we've got him in here because I reckon that if he gets the opportunity with 14 finishing and 12 composure, he's got a lot of chance of scoring. I have given him a few games for Europa Point as well. He's not 100% match sharp, but I think he's going to be a pretty good player for us, you know. I think he can do a pretty good job for us. So that is the squad we have. That's a full 23 people. Hopefully we're going to get some pretty interesting results out of this one. Of course we do have a home game against Lithuania on Friday, and that'll be the only game we have in this episode. So without further ado, let's get straight to that game against Lithuania. I made a big mistake, haven't I? A big mistake. It looks like for some reason my assistant manager is controlling friendly matches. Well, that's annoying. Who picked that? I didn't. All this has been selected wrong. But the problem is now the problem is, you may have guessed exactly what the problem is. Yeah, it played the friendly without us. I cannot believe it did that. Oh, I cannot believe it was set up like that. But, well, the result was a 2-0 loss. Let's just view the highlights. We know what the score is going to be. We know we're going to lose 2-0. But let's have a look at the highlights and see just how he did get on. I'm assuming that it's picked a different team to what I was going to select as well. Baxter. Oh no, it looks pretty similar to the team that we had selected. I just can't believe it did that. I really can't. So it looks like this is not going to... Well, this was our first match as the Gibraltar manager, but we skipped it stupidly. So I do apologise for missing that. I really do. That's really annoying me, that is. But I have booked some more friendly matches, and I've actually booked the matches myself now. I have booked friendly matches against nations that we have a decent opportunity against, and that's the sort of thing that I wanted to do. I wanted to play against teams at a level sort of playing field than what we are, and I also want to play against teams where we've got a potential of beating them and getting further up the rankings. So that's what I've done. I've booked games against teams like Malta and Luxembourg and Liechtenstein and other European clubs that are down the bottom of the rankings, really. And then hopefully we can slowly build ourselves up. Now hopefully by the time we get the next set of international friendlies, we should have a couple of new players, maybe even more. Yeah, that was poor, that was, wasn't it? Is that Ramito is in goal, though, isn't he? Yeah, Ramito is in goal. So Ramito's got his first cap. So we now have a good goalkeeper locked in to the Gibraltar national side now for the next sort of 5-10 years, which is good. Losing 2-0. Losing 2-0 to Lithuania actually isn't probably too bad of a result. Lithuania are not a bad team. They're in the top 100 of the rankings, whereas we're 194th now, I think. So they're actually more than 100 places ahead of us. So we didn't do too badly, but I think the next set of international friendlies we're going to do a bit better, hopefully. And we should get a draw soon for our for World Cup qualifying groups, I should imagine. See what, there's a... Is this highlights? Because it seems to be the whole match going here, doesn't it? We're 4 minutes in now. It's gone out for a corner. Are these highlights, or have I literally been talking the entire length of the match? I can't tell at the moment. We're only 4 minutes in. Surely these are just highlights. I did put just key highlights, or did I put extended highlights? View... Oh, let's do key highlights then. Oh, we're going to go... Right, so we've seen this one already. Seen that. Right, so we've already seen the goal. So here we go. This is the next key thing that happened. So I don't think we did too badly, really. I would like to do a bit better. I've got a feeling that we can do better than this. And I've got a feeling in the next few friendly matches that I've got booked, because they're more even friendly matches, we could pick up a few wins and hopefully get ourselves a bit up the rankings. And that's a little cheeky thing with international matches, I suppose. If you organise your own friendlies, then potentially you could you just keep organising really easy friendlies, and if you lose a few games in competitions, organise a few really easy friendlies. There's the second goal. You organise a few really easy friendlies to get the people back on board with you. I suppose it all depends on competition results. Well, I can't imagine that we're expected to do very well in any of the competitions, but it's still nice to see how we're going on. So it looks like it wasn't that much of a match, really, was it? We lost 2-0. Simple tap-in and a header from a corner. I'm not that disappointed. I think we can definitely do better, though. Why is Joyce up? We didn't call Joyce up. I'm sure we didn't call Joyce up. That's odd. We'll have to double check. Maybe, I don't know. I don't remember calling Joyce up. He's one of our players, actually, Joyce. So there we go. That was the full-time whistle with a 2-0 loss against Lithuania. We'll have a quick look at the overview then. So Ramito started, so did Jim Morrison. So they did start more or less with the team that we selected. Or did we? No, they even changed the formation as well. That's frustrating, isn't it? And Liam Joyce. Did I call up Liam Joyce? Oh yeah, Liam Joyce. Sorry, I've got something completely different in my head. So I'm not overly disappointed, really. 6 shots, 0 on target to their 17. We have more possession. So I think there's a lot to build on there for the next international matches, which are going to be in some time, I believe, aren't they? Can I click on Gibraltar there? Bruno Ramito. Now, Gibraltarian with 1 cap. Fantastic. And he's on the list of top Gibraltarian players now as well. Fantastic. Yeah, so our next game is against Malta on the 30th of October. Or the 30th of, 30th of August, sorry. And then we've got a game on the 1st of September against Luxembourg. So we've got 2 games in the space of 2 days. This is going to be pretty difficult for us, but both those games are potential winners, I reckon. Can we arrange any more friendlies? We can arrange one for the 4th of October and the 6th of October. Should we do some more friendlies while we're here now? Let's keep selecting ones down here. We'll go for the Faroe Islands. That looks good. Let's go for... I want to just beat teams around us, really. Who else? Swaziland, Vanuatu, Laos, San Marino. We're not playing yet. Oh, well, let's play San Marino. I want to try and get as many games in as we can, really. Let's have another one here, maybe against, I don't know, Andorra, 210th. I thought Andorra were better than that, to tell the truth. 8th of November we've got available. Should we go for Suriname? Why not? Because I'm there. And I really just want to beat some low down teams just to get ourselves up the rankings a little bit, really. Israel are 150. I don't want to touch Israel though. Fiji. I'm sure Israel are a lot better than what that ranks them at. And then some of these might end up getting cancelled because they're going to coincide with some of the games in the World Cup qualifiers. But still, I think that'd be a pretty decent set of matches for us, and all teams that we're going to be pretty much even with. And especially, I think by the 1st of September, I can probably have a look at this if I am clever. If we go to squad and we go to who are we looking for? We're looking at Anders Broger, for example, is 229 days, so he's going to be the end of the year, really. Anders Broger. Jamie Wildman, you are 135 days away from being able to play for the national side. Fantastic. Bustamante, you are 134 days away from being able to play for the national side. Fantastic. That's 2. Eric Bernal, you can't be too far away now either. 400, so you've got a year and a half yet, or a year and a bit yet. So we know we've got those 2 players, and I think there's still Juan Carlos Dulce as well. Again, 90 days. So 3 more players that hopefully by the end, or hopefully by their next international friendly matches, those 3 players will all be able to play for the national side. That's going to be a real improvement, just those 3 players. It's really going to help us out as well, because we're going to end up looking like top managers, even though we haven't really done that much hard work, have we? Lucas Heikel has been here for a long time, but because he's only just turned 18, yeah, it's still got a while to go. And I think there'll be quite a few more over the next few years. I'm looking forward to that. Unfortunately, Finn Baird, as a player I thought was going to get it as well, but he ended up getting a cap for Australia recently. Frank Banning is still yet to play for Cameroon. He's only under a year away as well, so possibly we've got a few extra players that we could call up to the national side over the next few years. So that is going to be the end of this episode. I hope you have enjoyed it. I know it's a little bit disappointing that I completely buggered that one up. As you can see, we are pretty close to the end of the season now, so I'll probably bring you back just for the last 2 matches of the season and for the 2 cup finals as well. I have made a few transfers in January and a few players have gone out as well. You might have seen a couple of bits and bobs knocking around as we've been through the screens, but we'll go through all of that in the next episode as well. Of course, if you have enjoyed this episode, then please do hit that like button. It does really help me out. And of course, if you are new around here, be sure to hit that subscribe button as well for a lot more of our Gibraltar challenge. And I promise, next time an international match comes around, we will actually manage it rather than letting the computer do it. I promise that. I've been Shebba Gamer. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.